Hey, hi, hello. Today's video is piggybacking on the previous video showcasing 20 RuneLite plugins. Now in this video, I wanted to go over 10 RuneLite plugins that I've found that really elevate the UI and the experience as a whole in the game. And since these plugins are a bit more unique, be aware that every one of these plugins except for one is going to require you to install them from the RuneLite plugin hub. So let's jump right into the video, and first up is going to be camera smoothing. Now this plugin is pretty simple. All it does is allow you to change how smoothly the camera movements are. So as you can see, toggling off and on, it's pretty much less jarring, and you can change the settings on how much smoothing you actually want to have. While I don't see much of a difference going from side to side, the zooming in and out is where it's really noticeable, and you can just crank the smoothing up or down depending on what you're liking. And I really just found this enjoyable when you're moving around the camera. Up next we have Action Progress. Now this new plugin I have found recently, and honestly I've grown kind of to enjoy having it enabled. Once you start some sort of action, you are going to see a progress bar appear. Within this bar, it's going to show you how much time you actually have remaining till the action's complete and how many actions remain themselves. Now I know there are a lot of other plugins that kind of do similar features, but I really like how this one integrated with RuneLite. Within the settings, you do have options to enable and disable on a number of different actions, so you don't have this bar showing up for everything you do. But, feel free to just kind of tweak this to see how you feel about it. I just found this very helpful when doing some AFK tasks, because you could see visibly like how much time was remaining till it was completed. Now up next we have the HD Minimap. Now this plugin is pretty simple. It does not have any settings, but all it does when enabled is give a bit more detail on the minimap itself. So instead of looking really flat, it gives a little bit more texture to the world, and I think this complements those GPU plugins like I have enabled right now and makes the minimap stand out just a little bit less. Alright, moving on to the Barrows door highlighter. For those of you that still do this minigame, I honestly think this is a great plugin. It just highlights all the doors down in the tunnels with either a green or red outline indicating which doors are actually open and unlocked. I know you can look at the doors and tell pretty easily, but if you're like me trying to get a ton of runs in just kind of quickly, this kind of takes a little bit of the work involved out and just allows you to get to the treasure room a little bit quicker. Next up is one called Consumable Cooldown. Now this one I feel is a far more training kind of plugin, but I could see how some people might actually use this and have it enabled all the time. What this allows you to do is actually, when you take a sip of potion or eat a food, you can see a actual cooldown timer on those items until you can do another action of the same type. I think this is like a great plugin to learn how to do like tick eating, or if you're not used to doing things in the wilderness and people are trying to PK you, if you get scatterbrained, this is kind of nice to see how quickly before you can eat another potion or food or any kind of sort like that. So I've tried to leave this enabled all the time to see how I feel about it, and I'm kind of mixed, but I do see how this could be a great learning tool. Now, the next three plugins are going to relate to more teleporting, but the first one up is Better Teleport Menu. Now, what this plugin allows you to do is actually change the teleport shortcuts from 1, 2, 3, etc. to something else entirely. Now, let's take a look at this fancy jewelry box. Now, we have 1 through 9, A through J, but if we right-click the teleport, we can see a new menu comes up, and we can set a hotkey to actually change it from here to whatever we want. Now our second plugin regarding teleports is called Teleport Maps. Now this one I enjoy quite a lot and have been using for years now. What it does is actually change the normal teleport list with a new map that shows where each teleport will take you in that area. This will work with things like Fossil Island, Lovikenge, minecarts, spirit trees, wilderness obelisks, Xeric talismans. As you can see with the Xeric, we can toggle it off and on, and you can show either just the names, you can just show the numbers instead, but I really like having it with the names, and this is probably one of my favorite plugins listed in this series. Now next up is Spirit Tree Menu plugin. Now this is kind of similar to the teleport maps in a way, but it's for those that don't really want to deal with a map. But what it does is makes a nice little list of your teleports for you instead of showing them on a map. And I wanted to include this one in here because I know not everyone is going to enjoy those maps like I said, but maybe wants something a little bit different than the standard teleport list. So we can just see that we toggle it off on, and you can kind of tell the difference here. And it's not a major difference, but it is subtle, so some people might actually enjoy this one. Alright, at number 9 we have the NPC Aggression Timer. Now this is the only one in this list by default that is included with RuneLite, and I don't think a lot of people take advantage of it. What it allows you to do is actually give you a timer for when the monsters will de-aggro, but you can also enable it to show the perimeter for where you can stand so you don't reset that timer. So this works in two ways for myself. Either I'm doing things like demonic gorillas and I don't really want to re-aggro them after 10 minutes, maybe I want to go take a break or something like that. Or if you're training somewhere at like rock crabs, this is great to show you how far you really need to run away before you reset the aggro so you can AFK for say another 10 minutes while you're training. Now last up, what we have is called Hide Widget. Now I feel like this is for more of you content creators out there, or maybe you just want to see what you're doing while you're on say like a task or something like that, but simply what all this does is just hides most of the UI on your client. So basically it turns it into a giant photo mode, which is pretty interesting. Nice part about this plugin is you don't have to constantly disable and enable the plugin itself. There is actually a shortcut by default that, or you can actually change this, but I think by default it is just Control H. So for me, I found this just kind of helpful for making videos like this. Maybe for other content creators out there, they might enjoy this as well. It's a simple plugin, but kind of effective. Well, that's the 10 plugins that helped me round out my UI and experience in the game, and I hope you found some of these at least pretty interesting and maybe willing to try them out in the future. Now, if you have some plugins that you can't seem to live without, feel free to list them down in a comment below. I'm always looking out for some great new plugins, and as always, if you like this video, think about giving it a like, comment, and subscribing to the channel to see more videos in the future, and I'll see you in the next one.